And a very pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to O'Neill's Grill on University Boulevard for our weekly Fan and Press Luncheon with JMU head football coach Everett Withers here on Matazone HD Sportsnet, presented to you weekly by the JMU Alumni Association. I'm Kurt Dudley. We're going to talk about the Duke's victory this past Saturday over the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh, a thrilling win for the JMU Dukes, 31-28 in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. That evens the Dukes record at 1-1. Coach Withers, last week, one of the mantras that you had was, well, in search of for your team last week. Just what did you and your staff discover about this team this past Saturday with that victory?
Well, in search of, it was in search of competitive excellence, trying to find a way to do whatever we do. Each individual person has a job description, trying to do that job description better. We found out a little bit about our team in the second half, that there is some resiliency in our football team. I really like the character of our football team, the mental toughness of our football team to be able to finish a game. And that hadn't been done on the road for JMU in over a year and months. So first road win since November the 3rd in 2012. To be able to go on the road and finish a game like that in the second half was a positive step for our football team.
Two things that you pointed out at halftime was sustaining some drives was one thing that you wanted to do, and also to try to eliminate a very successful play for Lehigh in the first half, namely the counter.
Yeah.
What did you do in both instances that helped you to play and meet those expectations in the second half?
Right. I think in the first half we were a little bit inconsistent early with trying to start drives on offense. I think in the second half we were able to settle down and put together obviously a 66, a 99, and a 98-yard drive in the second half. So those are huge for our offense, our confidence level, and for us to put points on the board. On defense, we did some things a little bit differently schematically to stop some of the run game. We had some success. We limited them with 7 points in the second half. So we had some success making halftime adjustments. We had a little bit longer halftime than we normally would have. But I felt like our kids handled the halftime well and obviously got paid for it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that 30-minute. What did you feel was the most important thing for them to, I guess, not lose any energy, not lose any mental focus during a long delay like that, because it is humanly quite natural to do that in those circumstances?
No question. I think our coaches did an unbelievable job of getting together with each of their units and really keeping our guys focused on the task at hand, knowing that we were going to go out and play a second half. No matter when that was going to happen, we knew we were going to go play a second half. And our coaches did an unbelievable job of keeping our kids focused. We wanted to get them hydrated, and to say it was a really hot day, get them hydrated, and again, keep their mind focused on the game plan and the adjustments we made. And our hats off to both our coaching staff and our players.
When you got to the ball carrier, was the tackling better this week than what it was against Maryland? Did you feel pleased about that?
Yeah, we improved in that area. We improved in that area tremendously, to be honest with you. We have to continue to make strides with some of our linebackers and our defensive front guys fitting the run. We're seeing a little bit different run scheme than what our offense runs. So our guys are starting to have to adjust to a little bit different run scheme than what we've been seeing from our offense all through August and all through the spring. So I think we'll continue to get better on defense.
With their play this past weekend, two of your Dukes have been honored by the Colonial Athletic Association as the Special Teams Player of the Week. Jimmy Moreland, who made the key block on the field goal, and John Miller, who rushed for over 100 yards. Two true freshmen, Coach. You have not been shy in saying you don't mind playing these true freshmen. Considerable impact that they've already made on this team. Right.
Jimmy Moreland, again, true freshman from Florida. Jimmy has a tremendous amount of talent. Jimmy blocked a punt in practice on Thursday, and blocked a extra point field goal in practice on Thursday. And Jimmy's got a lot of talent. I mean, he can do a lot of things, and he'll continue to get better. He's going to make mistakes, but you know what? The only way you get better is by playing, and he's one of those guys who's going to play. John Miller is a tremendous young man, great kid, runs the ball tremendously hard. and he'll continue to get touches himself because he is a talented player.
And as you go into week number 3, game number 3, this one at home against St. Francis on Saturday at 4 o'clock, point of emphasis as you prepare for the next foe?
Well, I think the point of emphasis is to continue to improve. Again, we worry an awful lot about ourselves and not about our opponents. So again, getting better on defense, being better stopping the run on defense. So we're going to be tested this week because I think St. Francis runs the ball well. They had a back rush for over 200-plus yards a couple weeks ago. So we have to do a much better job of fitting the run schemes better on defense, continue to get better tackling. But all those things are things that we will continue to work on and we will get better at. Offensively, just continue to grow in our offense. I will say this: our offensive line. I'm really proud of our offensive line. If you look at the end of that ball game last week, the growth from week 1 to week 2 was probably as much in that offensive line as any position that we had. And those guys really finished the game last week. So that growth continuing, because if we're good in the offensive line and our quarterback has confidence in our offensive line, we're going to be a much improved offense as the year goes on.
All right, Coach, thank you for answering those questions. We'll now turn it over to members of the media who are here at O'Neill's Grill. Gentlemen.
Coach, can you compare and contrast your team's attitude coming out of week 2 versus coming out of week 1?
Well, I mean, winning helps, obviously. I think our attitude is our kids yesterday, when we practiced yesterday, felt some validation of all the hard work that they've gone through the off season, through the summer, through two-a-days, and to finish a game like they finished Saturday really is a testament to their hard work. And I think they, I always use this term, they got paid for their hard work on Saturday. And they now know if they continue to do that, they will have opportunities if we stay healthy, keep doing the things we need to do to get better, get paid more as the season goes on.
It looked like Lee obviously had a lot of improvement from week 1 to week 2. Can you talk about the chemistry that he has with guys like Rashad Davis and the rest of his wide receivers from week 2?
I think it's a work in progress. There are some things that Vad's going to have to improve on, and he knows it. And throwing the ball, he had some connections. He could have had more. But I think the improvement is there. It's just now we got to enhance it, move it forward, and not be satisfied where we are. And that's what I think Vad will do. Vad will do that. I think growing to learn these receivers each week is going to improve for him. And, like I say, I think this thing will keep getting better. We'll keep enhancing the passing game, and it will help our running game and vice versa.
Is this week about more technical adjustments from week 2, or is it also about getting reps and continuing what you guys did successfully against Lehigh?
Well, yeah, every week is about improvement. It's about, continuing our growth as a football team. So it's about us tightening up things that we don't do well, and the things that we are doing well, enhancing them and making them better. So that's the approach we'll take every single week we go into a week of preparation.
Feel like some momentum built from this win. You get some stuff going especially after Maryland, and then some positive reinforcement here for that.
Again, I think each week is its own entity. You go into the week, and we put that one. We put that Lehigh game aside last night about 7:30. Now we're on to improving this week to get better for our opponent this week. So if that's momentum, yes.
Talk a little bit about Rashad Davis and can you talk a little bit about Rashad Davis and the game he had for you guys?
Well, Rashad was put into situations. We try to put guys in situations that have success. Rashad's not a very big receiver, so we wanted to get him the ball on the move some with some jet sweeps and some things like that. And he had some success doing that. We were able to get him down the middle of the field on safeties and linebackers. He has tremendous speed. So Rashad is a talented young man. Made several big plays for us. Hopefully that'll continue for him, and it'll help our offense.
Let's talk a little about your first home game. Is it a big difference being at home compared to being on the road? How big of a difference is that?
Well, obviously you like being home. I'm one of those guys. I love being at home, and I'm gonna challenge our fans. I'm gonna challenge our student body to be at a game for 4 quarters and learn how to finish like we finished this past Saturday. I want to challenge our student body, our faculty, our local support people to be loud, be an obnoxious crowd Saturday. Learn how to be an obnoxious crowd and a good crowd. So that's a challenge to them. We're excited about being at home. Been on the road for 2 weeks, but I think our preparation doesn't change.
Coach, were you pleased with the wide receiver play? You wanted them to get better separation. Can you talk about that?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. The run game helps the wide receivers so much. So now we were able to run the ball better this past week, and now our play-action pass game works a lot better for our wide receivers. So our wide receivers were able to get into some situations with some route concepts to get open. So some of it's scheme, some of it's the ability to be able to run the football. And putting those two together, I think our wide receivers had some success.
Was Lee better with those read option plays? Was there improvement in that area with those plays Saturday?
Yeah.
How did that kind of help the running game and keep the defense honest and those kind of things?
Well, his runs, the runs with the running backs, the jet sweeps, all those things go hand to hand. So the entire package of the run game was a success for us and enabled us to throw the ball down the field more. So not just his runs, but the runs of all the guys that touched the football gave us the ability to be better in the run game and the pass game.
I know you touched on it briefly on the conference call, but even when a guy like Khalid Abdullah can go down and then you guys can still run the ball effectively in the second half, the depth that you guys have at that position, and he talked about that a little bit, would just keep going, plug guys in there and go.
Well, that's what we wanted to be able to do. We wanted to be able to just put guys in the game that can play, and there's not a guy that's going to get the bulk of all the carries. That's not how we're going to do business. What we're going to do is we're going to put guys in the game. If guys get tired, then we're going to put the next guy in the game and let him go. You can only do that as if you're good up front, you can run the football and do what we did in the second half. We wore Lehigh down in the late third quarter and the fourth quarter. And that's what our offense is about being able to go really fast, and by the time the third and the fourth quarter hits, that I could carry the football, okay? You could carry the football, all right? So that's our objective.
I think after the game you said John had the hot hand. When he gets hot, what do you see out of him? Is he doing anything differently?
No, I mean, I just think he has the ability. He does a nice job of being a one-cut guy. We talk about good running backs are one-cut guys. They make one cut in their north and south. He does a nice job of one cut and go. He has good speed. He can catch. He has a lot of those intangibles that you look for in a running back. And, as a young kid, he has a lot of maturity about him also. So, having him in the game is not a negative for us. We like it when John's in the game, and he's done a nice job for us this year.
Was there a reason why Alden Hill didn't get into that running back mix on Saturday?
He just didn't fit in the flow of what we were doing.
Okay, gotcha.
Last week you gave an A for effort, F for execution. Given that you want to see a lot of improvement from week 1 to week 2, do you have a grade for your team in week 2?
I would say C+. Yeah, I would say C+. What's that?
For both effort and execution?
Just the total overall grade. I'm rounding that off to effort and execution, C+.
You said that you're looking at the first 4 games for this team. Where is your team on track in those first 4 games? Are they a little behind, a little ahead? Where do you see?
I think each week, again, we're trying to build for those first 4 games. I would like to be a little bit better defensively than we are. I think we're still working some kinks out in some of the things that we're doing schematically. I think we have talent on defense to be really, really good. And I think we have really good coaches, and we'll get it fixed. I really wish that we could do some things to rush the passer a little bit better. So I think we're a little bit behind there, and we'll get that fixed. Again, we have personnel to do that. Offensively, I think we're starting to do the things that we need to do. offensively. What we did in the second half is what I envision us being able to do from start to finish in the ball game. That's what I'd like to be able to do. That's what our staff would like to be able to do. So we've got some work to do. We did some things in the special teams better. We still have some improvement there. Our punter, averaged 45 yards a kick last week. So we're starting to get better in some things. We've got areas we can improve there. So we're not there. We're about a C-plus team right now.
Coach, just talk about St. Francis. What are you kind of expecting from them?
Say that one more time.
What are you expecting from St. Francis this week? What do you kind of know about them?
Well, I've looked at their special teams. I know they'll be a tough physical football team. Their head coach played offensive line in the NFL, and he's a tough physical guy. And I know last year, you throw 3 interceptions against anybody, you got a chance to get beat. So we can't turn the ball over. I know that because they'll be able to run the football. We have to do a good job of stopping more of a traditional run game. But I expect them to be a tough opponent. They came in here last year and nearly pulled out a ball game. So there's not going to be anybody in our building this year looking past St. Francis. I promise you that.
I know you say they lean on each other, run and pass for you guys. Is the running game ahead of the passing game at this? Would you say that, or is that not necessarily true?
I don't know how to look at one without the other.
Okay.
We have to be able to run the football to throw the ball.
What is your confidence with bad passing right now? Can he make a 3rd down and 10? Is he at that point yet where he can really make all the throws?
I think he can make all the throws. Yes.
What more would you like to see out of him in the next game? Where's his biggest improvement need to come now?
Just continue to learn and grow in this offense.
Talking about the run game with St. Francis, Dixon, obviously national player of the week.
Yep.
What makes him so good? Because he does a lot of things.
Well, what he did last week, a lot of the runs came out of what we call a wildcat set, where direct snaps to him out of a wildcat set. So he has tremendous vision. He has great straight line speed. Does a nice job in the perimeter of eluding tackles. So we're going to have to do a good job of getting enough bodies around him to tackle a talented running back. But, heads off, guy's a tremendous back.
I know you're talking about playing different teams, and teams block the run differently, I guess. How does St. Francis?
They do. They block the run differently.
Right. How does St. Francis compare to the previous 2 teams you played? How do they do it?
They're a little bit of a zone team. They like to run the 1-back zone scheme. When they're in 2 backs, they run what we call gap scheme, powers, leads, those type things. A little bit similar to what we saw last week, but not quite the same makeup formationally.
Coach, what is the status right now with Gage Steele? Is he close to getting back on the field, or?
Yeah, Gage could have played last week for us.
Your other injured guys, A.J. Bolton, how's he doing?
He's doing well. Hopefully we'll get him back this week sometime.
Okay. Les Brandon Ravenel on Saturday. What's the deal with him?
He had a tweak of a hamstring, so we didn't play him.
Okay.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
Yeah, I was going to ask one more thing about the run defense. When a team is running seemingly at will against you guys, how do you make those adjustments in game? Is that who makes those calls? Is that Staley? Do you help out with that stuff, or?
Brandon Staley's our defensive coordinator, and again at halftime we come in. It's hard to make them during drives. What you have to do is go and sit down at some point in time at halftime and talk about them and try to fix them. There were some things that we did in the second half that we felt like we did better. I thought Brandon and the defensive staff did a nice job.
Okay. Very well then. Thank you very much, Coach.
Yep.
Do appreciate it. And again, the Dukes will be playing their first home game. It is a 4 o'clock kickoff there at Bridgeport Stadium at Zane Choker Field. You can pick up tickets online 24/7 at jmusports.com or call the JMU ticket office at 568-DUKE. And a couple of programming notes for you. First of all, we'll have our first Matazone HD Sportsnet football pregame show, and that will begin at 1:30 here on Matazone HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association. And then we'll get ready for the football game. We begin the pregame there at 3:35 as kickoff is at 4 o'clock. And as Coach Withers said, want to challenge all the fans to be there for 4 quarters. It takes that many to win a ball game. Thank you for coming out this week and for joining us here on Matazone HD Sportsnet, presented by the JMU Alumni Association.